p.m. This is your motivation for the week. Get your bite.
Listen. You got this. We got this. It is your time. It is your turn. You are next in line. I told you on last week there was something that I needed you to remember, something that I needed you to fully understand as we exit 2023 and we enter 2024. Do you remember what it was that I said? What did we talk about on last week? That I told you that if you want to hit that next level, if you want to make that significant jump, there is one strategy that you can implement. There is one thing that you can do that will change the trajectory of your life. And that was know your worth. Know your worth. Know your worth. Listen, when you know your worth, remember on last week, you will take nothing less. You will not let anybody else convince you of anything else because you know your worth. When you know your worth, you don't allow other people, places, or things to put a price tag on you. Why? Because I know my own worth. Listen, I don't allow somebody into my world, into my life, or into my space to put a price tag on me or to put me in a certain type of box. Why? Because I know my worth. You may decide and make a decision that I don't want to make. You may decide to price me too low. I don't want you to price me too low because I know my own worth. And when I know my worth and when I know what I have to offer, I price accordingly. You. Listen, I know my own value. And we don't negotiate. This is Know Your Worth Part 2. Did you think I was going to leave it like that? No, I felt that when I ended that it needed a repeat. So this is Know Your Worth Part 2. Know your worth. Know your worth. Know your value. Know what you bring to the table so that you can stand on it in full confidence and nobody can convince you of anything else. I am fully aware of my value. I know personally my services. I know what my team brings. And when you call on us and we get to that negotiation table, listen, I am unmatched. There is nobody that is like me because my team and I, we don't come half-stepping, and we always give the pickle. What is give the pickle? The pickle on the side is the little bitty extra that you don't necessarily pay for, but it always makes it always makes the meal, the sandwich, the chicken, whatever it is, it always makes it just a little bit better. It's that extra bonus that we bring because it is who we are, and it is a part of our brand. We know what we bring to the table. Listen, I know how you feel and what you think when you leave the Sterling experience, when you get into my presence, when you're in the room. It is one thing to watch me on TV, but it is a total different experience when you show up to the Sterling experience because I know what you are going to leave with. You're going to leave motivated. You're going to leave inspired. You're going to leave hype. You're going to leave blessed. You're going to leave energized. You are going to leave ready to take on all of life's challenges. I know that I know when you pay your money because I know the value of a dollar. I know that you don't have to show up. I know that you don't have to book me. I am fully aware that people get to make choices with their money. And when you choose me, when you choose my team, when you decide that the Sterling experience is where you want to be, listen, I show up and show out. I make sure that I give you my all so that you feel like and you know that when you walked away, you want to know what I want you to think. Shoot, I owe that girl some more money. I should have paid her her more. She underpriced herself. Why? Because I want you to walk away with that feeling of, I got my money's worth. I am full. I'm fed. I am empowered. I'm ready to take my life to the next level. I know that when you leave the Sterling Experience, listen, there's a newfound belief in yourself. There's a newfound belief in yourself that you are going to challenge the inner status quo. That'll do spirit, well, I'm just going to do this for right now. I don't really want to do more than just this. Listen, the calling, the unction that I'm going to put, listen, the talk, the experience, the room, the atmosphere, the other people that are there, the way that my team makes you feel, the way that we pray over the room before you come in. It is the experience. It's the time that I spend in the secret closet. It's the time that I spend praying over you again, praying for the room, praying before I get to walk in the room, looking at every name that is on the list and calling you out by name. It is the experience, because I know when I know that, that's when I tell you that I know my worth. You will be willing to take risks and challenges that you have never thought to take before, where you may have been hesitant in the past. When you come to a Sterling Experience, when you walk away from the Vitamin M Show, you are ready to meet life challenges. And I can stand and say that because I know my worth. I know my worth. I know the dedications. Listen, because I know my purpose. I know that I am destined to break down walls. I am destined to produce positive thinking. I am destined for you to exhibit resilience amid any situation. That is my purpose. That is my vision. That's what I come to do. And so I think about that thing, and I pray over that thing, and I meditate over that thing, because I know my worth. I know these are the things that I'm going to bring to the table. So I price and I value myself accordingly. Know your worth. I know my worth. I know what I'm worth. I know the value that there is within me. Do you know your worth? Do you know your worth? Do you know your value? Do you know how much you are worth? Do you know your value? And I'm going to ask you the same thing that I asked you on last week. But do you believe it? Do you believe it? Not only do you know it, but do you believe it? Or is it just lip service and you're just talking about it? Because you must believe it before the rest of us believe it. You have to believe in yourself first. You have to put yourself first. You have to know your worth so that when you get ready to sit at the negotiation table, when you get ready to put your prices out there, when you get ready to tell people what it is that you want them to pay, you have to be able to stand strong in it and not take down. If nobody else knows it, you have to know it, because you have to be ready, willing, and able to convince everybody else of your worth and of your value. Everybody may decide to stop believing in you and stop believing in your vision and stop believing in your dream, but you cannot stop believing in yourself. Know your worth after these messages.
Marshall Sterling is available for your next event.
Known for her energetic speaking style and down-to-earth teaching, Marshall has made a positive impact on her audience at every engagement.
Whether it is a keynote address, conference, workshop, breakout session, or staff meeting, Marshall brings the same fire and excitement to every session.
Listen, y'all need to get into this Sterling Experience. There is nothing like it.
It's the Sterling Experience. It was dynamic.
To be here for the next one, your life is going to look different when you walk out of these doors.
And if you need a speaker for your engagement, you need to book her. Listen, she's going to bring the energy, she's going to bring the fire, she's going to bring all the points. A+ experience.
To bring the Sterling Experience to your next event, scan the QR code on the screen or go to www.marshallsterling.com.
Know your worth. Know your worth. Know your worth. This is part 2 because I just felt like that we needed more of this. Listen, we're about to close out in a few short weeks, 2023. And listen, I want you to hit it on a high note. There is still time. The time is we're not at the end. Time is not running out because you can run as fast as you can to the end, to your goal, because then you can roll your goal right on over into 2024 because you can stand on, I know my worth. I know my worth. Listen, I want to ask you a question. Not only do I want to know, do you know your worth and do you believe it? I also want to challenge with, who did you allow to give you your last appraisal? Who did you allow to give you your last appraisal? Because people can only impact and do what you allow people to do. Listen, you set your own value. If you allow people to show up and cut up in your life, then they will. If you let them disrespect you, they will disrespect you at every single turn. You have to know your own worth so you show others your value. Who did you let appraise you and why did you let them? I want to know. Who did you let appraise you? I don't let everybody, you should not, because I don't let everybody give me feedback and everybody to deposit into my life, because then it begins to change. If I think about it, it begins to change my perspective on myself. It begins to change what I think of myself. And because I don't want that in my spirit and I don't want that altered, I don't allow everybody to deposit within me. Why did you allow them to set your value, to set limits on your life? Why did you let them in? Know your own worth. See, I tend to believe that you're a lot like me, that you were using them as an scapegoat. Because you needed somebody that if that thing did not work out, if it did not go in the direction that you wanted it to go in, then you could blame it on somebody else. No, ma'am, and no, sir. You may not blame this thing on anybody else. Know your worth, because they are putting limits on your life. They're putting limits on your gift. Know your worth. Know your own worth. And if it doesn't work out, then it was all up to me. It was all about what I didn't show up for myself. I didn't make it. But you don't get to use somebody else as your scapegoat because you don't want to feel the effects. Because the problem with that situation is they're putting you in this box that's too little. And there's so much more that you could do. There's so much more that you're destined for, but you are not there because you allowed somebody else to put a price tag and a value on you. Stop allowing or depending on others to tell you how much you are worth, because you know what? Whatever they said, you're worth more. You're worth more than what they thought you were worth, because they don't know the nights that you're grinding, that you're staying up, that you're praying and you're toiling and you're working and you're making phone calls and emails and connections and reading and taking training and classes and all of the things. They can't put a price tag on that for you. You are the only one that can put a price tag on that. Know your own worth. Know your own worth. You have a lot to offer. Go get whatever it is that you want. You want to know why? Because you know your worth. Listen. I would lie. I'm not even gonna lie. I like to say sometimes I may not know this, But I can tell you all the things that I do know, and I can tell you all the value that I'm going to bring if you bring me in. I didn't say that I knew all the answers. I can just tell you what I do know. I can stand on what I know that I know that I know, and I will operate in what I know. Why? Because I know my worth. Know your worth. I know my level of commitment that I will bring to the project. If you partner with me, I know my worth, and so will you. When we're finished working together, when we're finished partnering together, you're going to know your value, because iron sharpens iron. You already are there. You just need somebody to sharpen you up. I am dependable, I'm transparent, and I am authentic. And I will bring those three qualities to any situation. And I will simply tell it like it is. I have no sugarcoating. Listen, I have no lies, no faking, no tripping. I'm going to tell you the truth because I know my worth, because I also know that I want somebody, and I choose people to tell me the truth and do that in my own life. Remember that know is a verb, which means to be aware of through observation and inquiry and information. Worth means the value of something as measured by its qualities or by the esteem in which it is held. So remember that I broke it down on last week. Know your worth means be aware through observation your value as measured by your qualities, the qualities that you bring to the table. That's why all of these high-end brands are able to say what they say, because they know their value. They know how they make people feel. They know the quality that they bring. You are a luxury brand. You are a high-end brand. They and we need you. You better recognize the esteem to which you are held. And that may not be a message for you, and you may not take it, but it's a message for me. I have to remind this old chocolate girl of my esteem to which I am held, my value that I bring to the table. I have to recognize that I am valuable, that I am worthy of where I am. You have to remember that you are enough, that we have value, that what we bring to the table is immeasurable. You can't pay me enough money for how I'm going to make you feel, for what I'm going to put out of you, for the things that we're going to do together. There isn't enough money to pay me, but I know my worth. Do you know your worth? Do you know what you're valued at? Do you know where you're valued? Do you know where you're valued? Know your worth. Know your worth. And when you know your worth, you don't take down. See, a luxury brand doesn't go on sale. They don't go on sale and decide I'm going to make an adjustment because I want all of these people to buy my brand. No, I don't. I want to stay at a certain level because I want it to be a scarcity. I want people to be chasing after me. I want my calendar and my product to be sold out so that it keeps people coming back. It keeps people wanting me. It keeps people hungry. It keeps people chasing after me. I need my worth to overtake me. I need my worth to run me down and to knock me over. Know your worth. When you know your worth, you know the value that you bring, because it's through the observation that you are aware. It's through your observations that you are aware of your worth. When we don't know our worth, we make excuses and we put ourselves on deep discounts. Yes, I said it. When you don't know your worth, you put yourself on a deep discount and you don't show up the way that you need to. See, when you know your worth, it causes you to show up and show out in situations. It motivates you when you know your worth, when you're confident and you're able to stand in it and walk in it. It's just something, it's the air that's around you. It's not arrogance, it's confidence. It's not arrogance, it's knowing my worth. Some people may call it arrogance, but I call it standing in my worth, knowing my value, the esteem that I carry. It is knowing your worth and taking nothing less. Luxury brands don't argue with the people that are around them. Do you think a luxury brand argues with other brands about what I am? No. Do you think Dolce & Gabbana argues? No. Do you think Tiffany argues? No. Who do you think they argue? You think Prada and Gucci and Burberry? No, they don't argue with other people. They know their worth and they stand confidently in it. Know your worth after this commercial break.
Want more of the Vitamin M Show with Marshall Sterling? Go get your vitamins daily in the on-demand section of the Inspire You app, or subscribe to us on YouTube for even more content. Continue to enjoy the show, and don't forget to spread the word about the Vitamin M Show with Marshall Sterling.
Know your worth. When we know our worth, listen, we stand up confident. Listen, we throw our shoulders back. And it's something about when you know your worth. You walk different. You act different. Listen, you begin to portray your product differently when you know your worth, because you're not second guessing. You're not spending time trying to decide, well, I don't know. Well, maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I don't really know. Maybe it's going to work out. No, honey, when you know your worth, you square your shoulders back and you walk with it. Hey, walk with it. Hey, walk with it. Walk with it. Walk with it. Hey. It's something about you bring it when you know your worth, because nobody can tell you. Let me tell you something. When you know you cute and you think you real cute and you got your outfit on, can't nobody tell you nothing. That's the way you have to be about your product, your service, whatever you are offering. You have to know your worth. Listen, I want to share with you 7 things that I read that can help you to better know your worth. 7 things that I want you to remember, and we're going to put them up on the screen. Listen, be intentional about your appraisal value. Be intentional about your appraisal value. Be intentional about it. That means that don't haphazardly value yourself. Sit down and write out all the pros. What are all of the reasons why people should work with me or somebody should buy my product? And then keep a win journal of your accomplishments. Keep a win journal with it so that when you begin to doubt your worth, then you can go back and look at your appraisal, because when your house gets appraised, there's a record of it. And you can go back and look at your appraisal value. I want you to be able to go back and look at your win journal for your appraisal value so that you know your worth. So be intentional about your appraisal value. That's the first thing. The second thing is explore your strengths and opportunities for growth. Explore your strengths and opportunities for growth. Listen, identify the areas when you're making those pros, for when you're being intentional about your values. You want to look at your strengths. What are my strong points? What do I bring to the table? What are the good and the bad? What areas do I need to work on? But what areas do I already know I can hit that out the ballpark? I got that. I don't need, listen, I can refine it and make it better, but there are opportunities because I'm going to play up to my strength, the things that I do well, and the things that I don't, I'm going to bring somebody in to be able to help me out. And I'm going to look for growth opportunities to grow in my field, because why? I want to know my worth. What do you do really well? Those are your strengths. Those are the things that you need to focus on. Then third, I want to consider the motivation behind my behavior. That is your why. What is your why? Why do you want to do it? Why do you want to sell the product? Why do you want to go there? What do you want to do? You've got to have a purpose and a vision behind the work, because that helps you to build your value when I know the motivation behind it. Why? And that way I'm not just wandering around aimlessly doing anything. Then I want to practice speaking positively about myself. You want to practice speaking positively about yourself, because you guys already know positive affirmations affects everything. It impacts everything about you. When you think negative about yourself, then you just got it. The life and death is in the power of your tongue, in the power of your thoughts, in the power of what you say. You speak it into existence. And if you say that it's not so, then it's not. You got what you wanted. It just wasn't what you really wanted. Okay, next you want to ask for what you think you deserve, even when you are nervous. Ask for what you think and know that you deserve, even when you are nervous. Don't let the nerves stop you from stepping out there. Don't let the nerves stop you from doing what you need to do. Do it afraid. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. There's only two answers. There's only two answers. Two. Guess what they are? Got any guesses? Yes and no. Yes and no. Let me hear you say yes and no. Let me hear you say, okay. That's it. I tell myself that there's two things, a yes and a no. So if you tell me yes, I won, great, that's it. Or a no, okay, then the next person is, because the person that values my worth, because I know my worth, they're going to pay my price tag. They're going to pay the price tag that I set because they know my worth. Surround yourself. Not only am I going to speak positively about myself, I'm also going to surround myself with positivity. I'm kicking the haters out. You saying something negative, you dancing on my parade, you putting lemons in my lemonade, and you trying to spill over my milk, and you trying to tell me about what I'm not. I'm going to leave you over there with all of that negativity, because this is not where you need to be. The negative people, need to get with somebody that they value, that they believe in, and then they can have a party with that person. But I'm going to surround myself with positivity because I'm going somewhere and I want everybody around me to go with me. And then I'm going to remember to carve out time for self-care. In all of this, when you know your worth, you have to rest. You have to take breaks. You have to sleep, you have to eat, you have to drink water, you have to work out. You have to give yourself and allow yourself time to rejuvenate. That's when you know your value. These are the 7 things that I want you to remember when we're talking about knowing our worth. Carve out time for self-care. Surround yourself with positivity. Ask for what you think you deserve, even when you're nervous. Practice speaking positively about yourself. Consider the motivation behind your behavior. Explore your strengths and opportunities for growth, and be intentional about your appraisal value. I said them backwards. This has been your Vitamin M. I love you. I appreciate you. Know your worth.
Join us next week to get your weekly dose of Vitamin M. Please visit our website at www.marshallsterling.com.